September. We will discuss next steps, and the last segment of our briefing today will focus on questions and comments. As you may recall, on 12th of July, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres announced the formation of the panel. And one of the highlights in his speech was the need to seize the potential of technology. In his inaugural statement, he also tried to balance opportunities with potential risk, and it has been an overall framework in discussion and all activities of the panel. He announced also two co-chairs, Melinda Gates and Jack Ma, the leaders of the digital world. Melinda Gates in the development field, and Jack Ma, the chairman of the Alibaba company, one of the biggest internet companies in the world. Panel membership is very balanced. It consists of the 11 female and 11 male participants, 5 participants who are younger than 35, very carefully developed regional balance and professional diversity, including ministers from governments, diplomats, business people, people from academia, civil society, and technical community. The first virtual meeting was held on the 24th of August. It was some sort of the introductory session for the panel members, the first listing of the potential areas of interest, and the preparation for the meeting which was held in New York last week on 24th and 25th of September. It was the first in situ meeting, which was open and chaired by the UN Secretary General, and later on we had the chairmanship by the Jack Ma and Melinda Gates. One of the outcomes of the first in situ meeting was the framework for consultation process, which starts today and which will be held till the end of December. The consultation process will focus on basically 3 areas: values and principles of digital cooperations, methods and mechanism, and what is called illustrative action areas, or action of the application of values and principles, methods and mechanisms. And in a few minutes we'll focus on these 3 segments. Illustrative action areas are human rights and human agency, trust and security, data, inclusive finance, trade, technology, and participation in digital economy, and capacity building. During the discussion in New York, there were a few main emphases of the focus of the work of the panel. One is the need to bridge policy silos. Many panel members, including our co-chairs, indicated that there is a growing risk that technology and digital policy creates many policy silos, and that the digital policy which is introduced is suboptimal due to the lack of coordination and sometimes lack of communication among policy silos. Many examples were mentioned, including policy making in field of data, security, inclusive finance. Therefore, this was one of the first emphases during our discussion in New York. The second focus was on the need to identify best practices. And as you will see later on, our consultation process will focus on gathering the stories on digital cooperation and on the needs and the ways how to transfer these successful stories into the panel's report. The third point is the need to develop some sort of shared vocabulary. We noticed that one of the reasons why the policy silos are getting stronger and stronger and more fortified is that they are developing specific languages and the vocabulary. Therefore, there is a need to develop a shared vocabulary based around the common principles and the common approaches. Shared vocabulary does not need to be unified, but it has to consist of the clear understanding what specific words or concepts mean in different policy communities. Another emphasis during the New York discussion was the need to engage marginalized or emerging stakeholders. When it comes to marginalized communities and marginalized stakeholders, it relates to youth, people from small and developing states, indigenous communities, and those and other players who are not frequently involved in digital policy making and digital cooperation worldwide. In a way, the panel should try to find ways and means to strengthen their voices. Another subgroup in this category are emerging stakeholders. There are new players and actors who are concerned about digital policy and digital cooperation because of their involvement. One community which we will involve is, for example, community built around online gaming. Online gaming when it comes to the developers of online gaming, users, and people who are dealing with impacts on online gaming on modern society, and in particular youth. In our work, we will also aim to avoid any duplication. It is clearly stated in the terms of reference issued by the Secretary General that the panel should not duplicate a work of existing forums such as Internet Governance Forum or the VSIS Forum and other international organizations and initiatives run by governments, private sector, and society. The panel should seek opportunities for value add. As most of you who are gathering today and following this virtual town hall meeting know, there have been many opportunities and activities related to digital cooperation in broader sense. Whether they were related to internet governance, digital policy making, initiatives by governments, private sector and civil society. Therefore, the main challenge for the panel will be to seek opportunity for value add. Value add can come in the putting together existing principles, mechanisms, and methods, adding the elements that could slightly improve those methods, or what we already mentioned, bridging policy silos and reducing lost in translation when it comes to the communication among different actors. Last in this list of main emphasis is the search for transformative ideas and approaches. There is a need to have equally transformative ideas and approaches to the transformative power and technology itself. There is a need to have a brainstorming, creative discussions, and engagement that will shift the framework of addressing digital cooperation and digital policy in the new way and new means. Therefore, those are the main emphases which came after the New York meeting, and we will try to build on them, and I hope that your comments will help us to understand how to address some of them. What are the next steps? The consultation process starts today and it will last till the end of December. During the consultation process, we will gather good practices, stories, and proposals. Call for submissions, official submissions, which you personally and your organization can make, will be on 8th of October in 7 days. After gathering the inputs from communities worldwide, we will prepare for the next in situ meeting, which will be held at the end of January, most likely in Geneva. Between January and April, the report will be drafted, and ideas and proposals made in the report will be also checked with the communities worldwide. Official launch of the report should be at the end of April or beginning of May next year. After that, there will be 2 months of dissemination phase between May and June. This is the plan for the next step. Therefore, the first most immediate and most important day will be called for submissions on the 8th of October this month, later on this month. this is basically what is the framework for our activities. In this process, it is extremely important to have active participation of communities worldwide. What we have been noticing that will be the major challenge is to move beyond our traditional communities in which most of you and I have been active, like VSIS community, Internet Governance Forum community, or now emerging cybersecurity, artificial intelligence communities. And this is going to be one of the main challenges in the activities of the forum. We are going to basically now open the floor for your comments and questions, the clarifications on any point which was raised in discussion. Let me just go through the comments in the order. We have the question from Timeo. Hello, this is Timeo Suto and Elizabeth Thomas Reiner from the ICC. It's great to see you again, Timeo and Elizabeth, Rachel Pollack from UNESCO, Vladimir from Diplo Foundation. Well, mainly good morning, hello indications. We will be now waiting for questions. We have a question from the Rachel. What will be the deadline for submissions? We are currently discussing if it is going to be 2 or 3 weeks. Most likely it will be the end of October. Therefore, the call for submissions will be on the 8th of October, and the deadline for submissions will be at the end of the month. Vladimir Radunovic, what is the ideal outcome for the panel? What outcomes the panel would be happy with? Vlado, there are really one beauty of the composition of the panel and activities that we had in New York is a huge diversity of the panel members. And they're coming from different communities. They have really different priorities, different ideas of seeing both opportunities and risks. And probably the ideal outcome for the panel will be to find first convergence among these different views, and also to create this value add in discussion on digital cooperation, to make a next step, to build on what has been achieved by different communities, starting from cybersecurity community to internet governance versus community, artificial intelligence. And the key challenge will be to find convergences and to build some sort of advanced framing for addressing the cross-cutting aspects among all of these issues. Next question, Sandra, good morning. It's great to see you. What kind of activities are you planning during the IGF, if any? Yes, we are planning 3 types of activities during the IGF in Paris. The first will be the plenary session with the panel members, addressing the questions and priorities of the panel, including those issues that I listed previously. And there will be also a special session, a side session, or I don't know the terminology, it's a lunch session, where we'll have the more closer interaction with the members of Internet Governance community, aimed at hearing their proposals, their ideas, and their inputs for the consultation process and for the report. And the third activity will be meetings, bilateral and group meetings with the members of Internet Governance community, including technical community, business, civil society, and governments. Therefore, 3 activities: the plenary session, the luncheon meeting with a smaller group, and then bilateral and group meetings with different stakeholder communities. There will be form of open consultation as well as submissions at IGF. Nigel from ICANN, good morning, Nigel. Yes, there will be call for submissions on 8th of October. And this will be the major channel for having institutional and individual submissions. It will be similar to the IGF, yes. Antoine, any interactive session planned with the IGF and Paris Peace Forum? Antoine, as we indicated, there will be a session there will be a few activities at the IGF. We are discussing the way how we are going to interact with the Paris Peace Forum. It is up to the obviously IGF Secretariat and the French government who is preparing, organizing Paris Peace Forum. But as you probably know, there will be quite a few activities in Paris built around the initiative by French government, Microsoft, and other actors. That we will try to find convergences between in this triangular architecture between IGF, Paris Peace Forum, and activities of the UN high-level panels. Hello, good morning, Sita from Jakarta. Marlene Cade, I have concern about such a short time frame for submission of comments. If the goal is to engage the not yet engaged new stakeholders, that itself will take time. The 3 weeks deadline seems a major challenge to that objective. Marilyn, the time frame has to be put into the context of overall limited time that the panel will have for its activities. We have to prepare a final report by April next year. Therefore, the overall time frame which was given to the panel is 9 months, and I'm sure you would appreciate, as a person who have been involved in IGF and other complex processes, that it is a rather limited time frame. Therefore, that overall time frame affects also the time that we'll have for consultation. We will try to make these consultations as long as possible, but official submissions won't be the only way of submitting ideas and proposals into the consultation process. There will be town hall meetings like this one. There will be consultation at the IGF. We'll be also attending the major regional activities and conferences where we will organize consultations with different stakeholders. Therefore, official submissions will be just one of the many channels that we'll be using for collecting the proposals and stories about digital cooperation. Sita, I still could not hear you, but a question from here. Well, it's bad if you can't hear me, but let me read your question. After you submitted your recommendation, is there any evaluation after that, formal evaluation? The panel is, Sita, the panel is established by the UN Secretary General to advise him about next steps in digital cooperation. Therefore, the report will be submitted to the UN Secretary General, to member states and wider community. It will be up to the UN Secretary General and all stakeholders to see what are the elements from the recommendation that they would like to implement in the field of, for example, overcoming policy silos or making more effective capacity building. This is, for example, capacity building, which I'm very familiar with, is one activity which needs additional boost, which needs more coordination, and which needs some sort of new form of activities. We have an excellent examples with the summer schools all over the world. Sandra is here, one of the initiators of summer schools. We have excellent activities by ISOC, by ICANN, and Diplo Foundation when it comes to capacity building. But it is clear that there is a need to extend capacity building to new communities. I mentioned, for example, one online gaming community, which is becoming increasingly relevant in digital policy communication. Therefore, capacity building, recommendation of capacity building could be something that all of existing players, the new players in the field of capacity building could develop further. This is the major idea. Official submission to the UN Secretary General, but also to the wider community, and encouraging other actors to take some of the recommendation and to develop them further. Next question is from Natasha Peruchica. How will you ensure that you take into account existing mapping documents and initiatives such as UN CSTD Enhanced Cooperation Result, GFC work? Thank you, Natasha, for your question, and this is extremely important aspect in our work. We are not going to start from the scratch. There are so many academic, policy, initiatives which have been developed in the framework of artificial intelligence discussion, Internet Governance Forum, cybersecurity. And I can see that some participants like Marilyn, Sandra in the morning talk have been involved in these processes. And we are planning to build on all of those inputs, and we'll consult all of those inputs closely. Therefore, we'll have existing inputs, existing volume of knowledge and expertise, plus new one collected through the stories and best practices which we'll harvest during the consultation process over the next 3 months. Antoine, happy to hear that you appreciate the answer. Gonzalo, still do not really understand the kind of outputs that high-level panel will be seeking. Could you be more specific? Gonzalo, the question of the type of the output when it comes to form is very clear. It will be a report to the UN Secretary General. When it comes to the content, we do not have yet the structure. The structure will be developed as a result of consultations with communities. Some indications from the meeting in New York lead towards having the following building blocks. Values and principles that digital cooperation should both support and follow, as one of the line in discussion which we had in New York. Second, focus on methods, approaches, and mechanisms that exist in broader digital cooperation. And third line, which started emerging during discussion, is how to apply those values, principles, methods, and mechanisms to the specificities of a particular field, like capacity building, inclusive finance and trade, overall data governance, human rights and human agency. Therefore, that has been one element that started emerging during our discussion in New York. But I have to indicate we do not have yet the fixed layout of the report. It will come as outcome. It will be developed as outcome of the consultation which we'll have over the next 3 months. Marilyn, thank you. Jovan, I appreciate your response. Certainly the town hall approach is essential to reach more broadly and newer communities. Thanks for response. Thank you, Marilyn, for as always great questions, and we are looking forward to cooperate with you and your community in preparing and running this some of these town hall meetings. Jelena Dinčić, following the UNJ speeches these days, most governments have cybersecurity and threats high among concerns. How will you address security aspects while not securitizing the digital cooperation discussion? Thank you, Jelena, for this question, and it is one of the challenging questions. Yes, it is clear, based on the statements of the global leaders, that security is very high on the agenda in particular governments and also private companies. The main challenge for the panel will be to create a proper balance between discussion on opportunities that new technology creates and the risks which are also posed by digital developments. Ideally, it should be some sort of win-win formula in which we want to go for the direct trade-offs between these two aspects. But it is probably, you pointed to probably one of the main challenges when it comes to the panel activities. How to ensure that enabling aspect of digital technology is not lost in discussion about risk concerns, including cybersecurity, as you indicated. Nigel, there will be some form of a high-level note of the New York meeting? Yes, Nigel, there will be report which will summarize the main elements of the New York meeting, including the press release. Vladimir Radunovic, how can we, various digital communities, help the high-level panel to succeed? Anything beyond official submissions? Support with communication and outreach, data and research, or other? Vlado, you are part of Internet governance community, and I can see Nigel, Marilyn, quite a few colleagues from this community. Probably the main challenge for each of specific community is to make one step beyond our traditional way of addressing specific issues in Internet governance, AI, and cybersecurity communities, just to name a few. This is going to be the main challenge, to be more open for discussion, arguments from other communities, to engage, to listen more, and to try to create these bridges. And this is going to be the major challenge, I would say, in advancing discussion on the digital cooperation. It would be great if you can spread the information about our activities to your respective groups and communities that can enrich the footprint of the UN high-level panel. Next question from Natasha Glavor. Will this report, panel report, once generated, be publicly available? Yes, this is the key aim of the report, is to create a new dynamism in the field of digital cooperation. It will be not only publicly available, but it will be also discussed with communities worldwide. It will be also, the communities will be encouraged to start working on the implementation of the recommendation of the report. Therefore, element of publicity, engagement, inclusiveness will be highly important in the whole process towards the report creation, and in particular with the dissemination of the report results. Sita, adding to Natasha's remark, is the document produced from all the consultation process also open? Yes, there will be two important aspects which will build on the work of the IGF, VSIS, and other communities. During the consultation process, we will be updating community on the various inputs, discussions, trends in the way of the proposal and submissions that are made. Therefore, we'll have the high level of openness and inclusiveness in the overall process. I don't know, Sita, if I answered correctly your question, but you can just clarify. Hisham, Jovan, as the objective is also to engage new communities, will the call for submissions of 8 October formulate certain questions in a specific format to help facilitate meaningful input to the process from various communities? Will there be town hall sessions during the 3-week input window? Hisham, as always, an excellent question from your side. Yes, we are going to provide indications about the focused areas where we would like to hear inputs and comments from the communities worldwide. And I'll give you one example. Inclusive finance is one of the areas where we expect to have more activities. Inclusive finance is also an activity of high relevance for the development in Africa, Asia, and countries worldwide. For inclusive finance, one of the key challenges is to have effective cooperation among tech sector, including companies and regulators, financial and banking sectors worldwide, and competition authorities in developing countries. This was, for example, the reason successful cooperation among these actors was one of the reasons for the success of M-Pesa in Africa. Therefore, we'll try to gather this type of stories and to extract from these stories what are the lessons learned, what other communities can learn, in this case, in overcoming policy silos among different communities. Therefore, the questions will be clearly structured and it will help the process. Hisham, we don't know if we are going to have the town hall session during the 3-week input window, but they are planned definitely for November and December. We'll keep you updated. And I guess that you have you submitted your email in the registration process, therefore you will be constantly updated about these activities. Sita, the document produced is also important. Thank you. During the process. Yes, the process itself is important, and what the Secretary General posed as 3 criteria for the success of the high-level panel are the first criteria is obviously high quality report from the process, therefore we have to produce a good document. Second criteria is the effective, engaging, inclusive and innovative process of discussing. Therefore, first is report, second is the process, and third one is capacity building. Therefore, even through the process itself, we should build the capacity of different communities to engage in discussion on digital cooperation. Those are 3 criteria: the report, high-level quality report, engage in an agile process, and capacity building. Oh yes, Rachel, thank you for clarifying this. Yes, definitely. All submissions will be published on website, and like in CSTD or NetMundial process, we are going to build on the achieved level of inclusiveness and openness in discussion. No, thank you, Rachel, for basically clarifying Sita's question. Thank you very much. It seems that I managed to answer all of your questions. What we're going to do in the follow-up to this session, we'll first keep you updated about the process of official submissions. Then we will keep you updated about consultation and engagement activities that we plan for the next 3 months. And we'll be definitely seeing each other at the IGF in Paris, if not at some of the other events before the IGF. If you don't have any other question or comment. Okay, we have from Oni. Oh, now it's deadline is always encouraging people to react fast. Oni from Jakarta. I come from private sector, which is far from these processes, and would like to know what is the story I can tell to my colleagues about this process and the impact to us, though might not directly impact to us. Oni, this is an excellent question. And one of the challenges that we have in, let's say, overall digital policy and internet governance processes worldwide is to create this link between global, regional, and national discussions and impact to business sector, in your case, or internet users on local communities. And there are many, many connections. One can take the example of the impact these days of GDPR on businesses and communities worldwide. One can recall many, many examples where the policy processes have the direct impact on the internet users and communities worldwide. We mentioned the question of the regulation of M-Pesa and the development of inclusive finance. And personally, for me, as one of the executive directors and co-leads together with Ambassador Amandeep Gill, the main challenge will be to make this link between what is discussed in different forums worldwide, in different communities, and impact to, in your case, businesses, business that you run. For example, discussion on data, I'm sure will have the some sort of impact on your community. I don't know what is exact business that you're running, but this question is becoming extremely important in global policy discussions. Therefore, that informed, inclusive, and more substantive discussion on question of data, or including finance or capacity building, is going to have a direct impact of the way how we develop internet, how we effectively use internet, and ultimately it will impact this underlying question of the balance between digital opportunities and digital risk. Therefore, please rest assured that we'll put a lot of efforts to bring the discussion on the panel to the direct interests, concerns, and hopes of communities like your community. Marilyn, one further question. If we have a proposal for a town hall to each new stakeholder, can we set that to the Secretariat thinks other communities? Yes, Marilyn, it is very important that we get your proposals. We are going to prepare some sort of loose questionnaire indicating what type of inputs we expect, or what type of the shape, general shape town hall meeting should have, and leaving the huge space for you and the other colleagues to create specific focus and dynamics which is appropriate for your specific communities. Therefore, yes, in the follow-up, we are going to provide some indications about town hall meetings. Rachel, how do you see the interaction or complementarity with existing IG activities like the IGF? Do you think some member states and other actors see the role of the IGF fading and would like to see something new emerge? Rachel, you are basically pointing to some of the questions that we have been receiving in the consultation process so far. I can reassure you that we are going to cooperate closely to the IGF, and as a matter of fact, the coordinator of the IGF, Chengetai Masango, is the member of the panel secretariat. Therefore, this is one of important bridges that we have. The Secretary General clearly indicated that the panel should not propose duplication of existing forums, institutions that have been formed in the UN and other contexts, including Internet Governance Forum. The other question is about the dynamism of Internet Governance Forum. Is it fading or not? How is it perceived? And as a member of our Internet Governance Forum community, I think we have to do a lot in order to strengthen the IGF, in order to find a new role for the IGF in fast-changing digital policy developments. And regardless, some member states, whatever or other actors, whatever their position, I think the IGF community has to move the IGF to whatever 2.0 or 3.0 when it comes to the relating to the needs of the communities worldwide, like online community, when it comes to the communicating in more impactful way. Oni, thank you. Well, insurance companies, that's one of the community which, as far as I know, other colleagues will correct me, has not been that much involved in digital policy discussion. And the question of insurance to the digital risks and internet risk is becoming increasingly important. And insurance company, whether when it comes to data that they operate or insuring from digital risk, will have to be part of this process, and will try to find the connector, in this case, between your community and discussion that exists on the global level. I hope that we can count on your help in fine-tuning this message and this link. You're welcome, Rachel. Oni also. Well, it was really great pleasure to reconnect to you and to start this virtual town hall meeting. We'll have many encounters online or in vivo ahead of us. The time is limited, the task is major, the expectations are very high, and I'm sure we can deliver on it. And we have to move. We can move overall global discussion on digital cooperation to new level while we will be building on existing knowledge, initiative, dynamics, and networks. Yes, definitely, Nigel. The dialogue will continue also in Barcelona, where important member of our community, ICANN, will be celebrating its 20th birthday, and we will be present there for consultations and answer to the questions from ICANN community. Vladimir, and the title Virtual Town is an interesting one. Thank you for this indication, Global Town, and thank you, Antonio, as well for your participation, Sita, Yelena, Amrita. Well, with this, I would like to thank you, Elizabeth, and we really count on ICC for developing further engagement and, for example, for engagement with communities like insurance community, which Oni mentioned in his comments. Thank you, Diana. It was great to meet you again, and I'm looking forward to continuation of our discussion and to seeing you soon. Thank you, Anne. All the best. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Has left the meeting.